I don't know, it stopped recording. Why did it do that? Yeah, fucking kids. Yeah, well, anyway, I was talking about Schultz and Itzen. And once I read that novel, it took me, I don't know, a week or so. And it's not very long. It's all, I don't know, it might be 180 pages long. It could, yeah, it's pretty short. I got it out in the living room, but I'm not going to fetch it. Anyway, then I read, went to the grocery store with my mother one day. We went grocery shopping, and I went over to the book section while she rolled her cart around. And I was looking at books, and I bought all kinds of shit. Dashiell Hammett, the Maltese Falcon. I bought that when I was 15. I loved that book. Yeah, I love those books, detective novels and shit. And I bought a lot of science fiction too. That was fun. But then I started reading Nabokov. Got into him for a while. About my most favorite author is hands down John Steinbeck. Hands down. Both Hemingway and Steinbeck were in Europe during World War II as journalists. And I think Steinbeck had a son who went to Vietnam. I'm not sure. People were pretty upset about Steinbeck because he'd been a socialist, for hell's sake. He wrote The Grapes of Wrath. And then he got more conservative as he got older, and that's what happens to most men. The older they get, the more, they sense their mortality a little more each day, you might say. My father was like that, and he's a professor of organic chemistry, but he was also a Christian, which, I don't know. When I actually found out that he had quite a, I don't know. He was involved with the Episcopal Church. He was a docent there in his retirement on the north side of town. That magnificent church building there along Boulevard? I don't know what. Anyway, it's up there, just past the hospital zone. But he took me in there one day when I was visiting him and showed me around. I don't know, me and my dad exchanged hundreds of letters. I've got them in a box over there along with all my other letters. And he was mostly interested in genealogy. That's what he liked to talk about in his letters mainly. And I always told him how my marriage was going and how much I hated it. And he was one of the few people who attended my wedding, along with my mother and stepfather, and the bumbling, presiding justice of the peace, whom Lyndon and I hired to officiate. It was done in my mother's home. Oh, and Harold and Harriet were there. Harold and Harriet Dodgins. Yeah, they went to my wedding, and I went to their memorial service. I was even nervous there because, well, there are a lot of successful people in Pullman, mostly academics, but that's not. Steve Dodgen's an electrical engineer, and he designs embedded computer chips, which is quite a fascinating topic, but I'm not going to get into it. I tried to study computer science after I found out that I wasn't much good at teaching. And I'll tell you why. It's because I hated teenagers. Especially those 8th grade boys, those little motherfuckers. If I could get my hands on those kids, I'd strangle their fucking necks. I'll tell you what they did. This is why I'm so angry, because at my one and only job at Cary, Idaho in Blaine County, And it was a K through 12 school, of course. The town only had about 300 people in it. And there was a restaurant near the entrance to town. It was built out of logs. It was a cool building. And on one side they had a restaurant, the other side they had a bar. Well, I'd go to that place to have a bowl of soup every day for lunch so I could smoke a goddamn cigarette. And rumors started going around that Mr. Stacy was having himself a beer in the bar. My boss, Bob Bash, called me into his office. I don't know where we were. He might have come out to my house. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I rented this farmhouse outside of town. Oh, fuck. They had flies all over the place because, all this cow manure everywhere attracting the flies. Fuck. And when they separated the calves from the cows, fuck, that was horrible shit. Hear those fucking cows bellowing day and night. Jesus fucking Christ. Well, I got my ass out of there. I moved it into a nicer place in town. And when I finally left that place, at the right before Christmas vacation, I'd resigned. I had a nervous breakdown by then. Fuck, I couldn't handle it. I was always caving in. Fuck, I caved in when I was a freshman in college. Nearly managed to kill myself. I was pretty ruthless about it, too. I looked in my mother's medicine cabinet. I was looking for her sleeping pills. She didn't have very many, fortunately. Well, I took along the bottle of aspirin along with those pills and a 6-pack of beer I'd managed to get my hands on somehow. And I hiked out to this automobile junkyard that was out past the edge of town. Hill dodging, he called it Pea-Saw. Back when we were kids, 1962, 63, wandering through those fields, building shacks and, taking shit out of these old cars, I don't know what, solenoids, and going home and plugging them into the wall to see what they do. Fuck, I got electrocuted more than one time. You don't want to get shocked by 110 volts, and you sure as hell don't want to get shocked by 220, because 220 will knock you flat on your fucking ass. That happened to me a couple of times with the galley camera, changing lights. God, you don't want to get shocked with 220. That'll hit you hard. Well, anyway, I'm just glad it didn't happen. I had a long struggle after that. And, I don't know. I guess I managed to pull myself out of it pretty well. I went into the trade. And I'm glad I did. I always wanted to join a union, but I never had the opportunity. I might have joined a union, well, I probably would have, no doubt, if I had gotten a job in a newspaper, running the web press, or helping the head guy run the web press in the newspaper. I tried to get a job at the Bellingham Herald, of course, and they're not going to hire me. Fuck, I'm just right out of trade school. I don't know a fucking thing.